Hello, happy Tuesday. All right, I need to get ready for the day because I had a huge project this morning. Then we had someone over to the house, a workman, who, of course, found something wrong. I mean, something went wrong yesterday, but, nothing's ever like oh, that's easy. No, not easy. Ugh. So we'll get into that. All right, so in my stories earlier today, I did all of my skincare this morning, and I have had the morning voice. If you know what I'm talking about, I sound two octaves lower than I am right now. It is crazy. But I washed my face, and then I was like, I'll do the rest of my skincare with y'all. So I sound horrible, but it was early. I hadn't had coffee yet, nothing. Is what it is. All right, let's come in with our primer. So, I don't know if y'all know this, but this house is the first house my husband and I have ever owned. Neither of us in our entire life ever owned a home. So, we're learning all the things, right? And it is all the things. It's an older home. It's over 50, like me. Yay. But we love the character of it. That's what drew us to the house or whatever. But, every time you turn around, there's a little something. If you hop on, say hello. If you watch the replay, say replay. If I can help you with anything, the keyword is Tuesday. I'm going to talk today about hooded eyes. So on that note, I am going to curl my lashes. So yesterday, I went live, and then I had to go run to the post office for our company. I had to get our company taxes in the mail thing. And at the end of our driveway, we have a gate that opens, right? So it's extra secure, all the things. So I go out there, open the garage door, hit the button, open the gate, turn around, gate's not moving. Luckily, my husband was working from home yesterday, so he runs outside and he tries a couple things and he pops it where at least I can get out, right? Because I have to go. And he tinkers with it all afternoon, can't figure it out. I'm using our Serum Plus foundation. I haven't used this in a hot minute. Infused with skincare, it will plump and hydrate as the day moves on. So I like just putting a little and then seeing how far that little bit will take me. So we'd never had the gate worked on since we've lived here, and we've been here maybe 3 years, and we closed 3 years in July. So we had garage door people out because our garage door opener petered out right after we moved in. So I called them and I said, hey, do y'all do gates? Like into driveway gates? And they're super nice. And she was like, we don't, but we have someone we recommend. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that'd be great. Because, I've never had a gate before. I didn't have a gate person. I don't know who to talk to. It's, you got to build your list of handymen. And that's an area that we hadn't tackled yet. So anyway, I call this gentleman or this company, and it's an answering service that answers. And I'm like, oh, okay. So this either means they're small and they don't have like office staff, is kind of what I'm thinking in my head, which is fine by me. We're a small company, right? Like I understand where you need to cut corners at times for things like that. Just look at how that just smoothed out. Now I'm going to put on setting powder because I like my foundation to be a little more matte, but I don't use this enough. That's for sure. Anyway, so I leave a message, and I guess I'm being too wordy because the lady on the other end of the line is like, honey, I just need your name, your phone number, and just like a short description of what's wrong. And I was like, oh, sorry. I didn't know what else she was writing down. So anyway, I get a call a few minutes later from a totally different number, and I'm like, I better answer. And I don't normally, if you call me and your number does not have a name associated in my phone, I do not answer you. Right? That's too many scammy people. I don't know who that is. But I'm like, waiting on a call. So I answer, and he identifies himself and everything. And I said, oh, I wasn't expecting to hear from you already. And so cute. He goes, well, I can hang up and call back later. I'm like, no, we're all good. All good. So anyway, he ends up yesterday afternoon talking to my husband and FaceTiming like at the motor, like for the gate or whatever. And, you know, they look at things and he walks him through a bunch of stuff and it just can't, nothing's working still. So he says, well, I can come out tomorrow. So he came out today. The entire motherboard is blown. So he's like, you know, this is going to be in upwards of $700 to $1,000. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. I mean, we have to have the gate operational. You can't just leave the gate open. That's just too much of an invitation, you know? I mean, if you have the gate, you close the gate. That's the way I think. Anyway, I'm like, Dad, comment. So I'm like, yes, I want to fix it. Like, what am I going to do? But it's just like every time I turn around, it's like there's something, you know? We've replaced the garage door opener. We've replaced the hot water heater. Now we're replacing the motherboard on the gate. A pool filter's coming today to replace the pool filter because last year, this was funny. So every year in the spring, our pool guy cleans the filter, right? So when you turn off and you, like the big unit in the back, because our pool's old, the big unit, like with all the equipment or whatever, he undoes that, pulls this huge filter thing out, hoses it all out, whatever. And it's normally like when the spring, late in the spring, about now-ish, when the trees have kind of stopped doing all their pollinating and all the things, then that way he can put it back together and it sustains itself for a whole year, which is handy. But last year he goes and pulls the thing out and it was a rainy Wednesday when he was here. And he calls me and he's like, oh, can you come out? I'm like, okay. So I don't know if you've ever had a pool filter, but the best way I can explain it, it's like if a coffee filter was huge and then round and all connected and it goes in and out, 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 all the way around, right? Well, he pulls it out and it ends up coming apart in 3 sections and it's not supposed to do that. So I think this filter was quite old. Well, I didn't know how much filters were. So he was like, I can sew it together with fishing line. I'm like, you can? Okay. So he charges me a pretty penny for it, whatever. But he sits out there in the rain and sews the daggum thing together from 3 pieces into 1, rinses it all off, puts it all back together, right? So the whole off season, we have been discussing like how much is a new filter? Because that sewing it together thing is only going to hold so long, right? I mean, I appreciate his effort, don't get me wrong, but it's not really going to sustain for long, right? It was a good kind of like quick fix. So we Google the brand, the model number of the thing and everything. And we're like, oh, it's not much more than he charged to piece the dumb thing back together last year. So I'm like, okay, well then when the time comes, we'll just order a new filter. Well, fast forward to last week. And while he's here, I might have already shared this, but he texted me and said, I need to clean the filter and it's going to be an extra X amount of dollars and I want cash for that. Well, first off, I don't keep cash in my house. Like, we're so much of a Zelle, you know, credit card people. I just don't keep that kind of cash in the house. So I'm like, so when are you going to do that? And he's like, today. And I'm like, oh heavens. So call my husband. I'm like, hey, he wants to do this. Do you want to just order the new filter? He's like, yes, absolutely. Tell him don't clean it. We'll get a new filter. He can install it next week. I'm like, perfect. So I go running outside and I'm like, wait. And he's already like got it all open. I'm like, oh my gosh. I said, I'm sorry. We want to order a new filter. We don't want to use that one again. Remember you had to sew it together last year or whatever? So he put everything back together and the next few days, the pool just doesn't look right. And my husband thinks he didn't put something back correctly, like in his haste to put everything back together. So Friday, we're out to dinner, and I text him, and I'm like, pool just doesn't look right. I don't know what happened. The filter's scheduled to be here on Tuesday. He comes on Wednesday, so we'll have that. You know, I'm not worried about it. Don't need you to stop by. I just want you to be aware. We don't feel like it looks correct. Whatever. So we'll see how that goes. It's out for delivery. It better arrive before tomorrow. But then he called after I was texting that didn't look right and was asking my husband questions. And so then Darren said, well, how much are you going to charge to replace the filter? And he quoted the same amount as he was going to charge to clean it. And so my husband says, well, I thought that replacing it would be cheaper than cleaning it. Now, granted, English not his first language, our pool guy. So I get that. So he didn't really answer my husband. So my husband said, well, you're normally like pretty prompt on Wednesdays at our house. And he's like, oh yeah, you're my first stop. So Darren said, well, I'm going to work from home Wednesday and I can be here when you're here. I'm like, okay, good. So I can't deal with some of these people, right? Sometimes I feel like they take advantage of me as a woman because I don't know, right? Like, I mean, I don't think they're doing it intentionally, but it's like, you know, they say as a woman, you take your car to the mechanic and, you know, they quote 9 other things they wouldn't quote a man. I kind of feel like that's happening. So, all right, our free product right now is our liquid eyeshadow. And this is where I'm going to talk about my hooded eyes. So we have 2 products that are especially wonderful for hooded eyes. One is our liquid shadow because they're infused with primer and they don't crease. And they're like foolproof to put on. The other, and it's something that I don't use very often, but is our shadow sticks. So I'm going to use the liquid today because I want to show you again this beautiful color and my other favorite color. But I'm going to start playing around with these shadow sticks because they're great for hooded eyes. Again, they don't crease. They're very easy to apply, all of that. So I'm going to start curating some looks with those. We'll see how that goes. So I put together a bundle. The links are all attached in the description. And in the bundle, I put my favorite mascara. We can change. This is my other favorite mascara, which has 2 wands, which is beautiful. Who's parking in front of my house? I'm not expecting anyone. All right, so it has a mascara. It has this shade of liquid shadow, which is kind of a copper. Oh, I know who that is. Kind of a copper shimmer. And I'll show you that. I'm going to mix the 2 colors, which may seem a little strange, but I'm going to try that today. And then the brush I use with the liquid shadow, which is this blending brush, just to kind of blend it in a little bit, right? It's different than the one I would use with a powder shadow. So that's kind of my bundle. And in that bundle, you get free shipping, you get a discount, and then you get the second shade of eyeshadow, liquid eyeshadow. So I think that's awesome. The thing, you know, with hooded eyes is you have to really concentrate on where your shadow stops, right? So you can see there's variations on how deep your hooded eyes are. Some people consider themselves to have hooded eyes even when it looks like this, right? Mine look like this. In this eye, if I don't raise my eyebrows, don't raise my eyebrows. In this eye, my lid completely disappears, right? Completely disappears. This one, almost all. So our eyes are not identical. I heard someone say they're sisters. Okay. They're not identical twins. They're sisters. So I have to think in my head when I'm applying a shadow, when I close my eyes, where do I think I want it to go, right? So typically, you know, you go shadow here, you'd go in the crease there. But when I open my eyes, whatever's in the shadow is going to go away, right? So it's hard for me to build an eye look because I've got to take everything up here, almost to my brow bone to be seen, right? So what I like about these liquid shadows is I can do like one and done. So yesterday I did the free one, which is this mauve pink with almost a purpley twinge to it. Today I'm going to do the one that's in the bundle, which is one of my summer go-tos. It is the prettiest shade. So, doe foot applicator, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint this on my lid and travel up. Do you see how I traveled up? Now, on the travel up, I'm just going to start sort of swirling, tapping. I don't know why, when I go live, all of a sudden the street becomes busy because I'm looking at it. Now you can do this with your finger, but my finger destroys the product. They say your fourth finger is your lightest finger, but if you played piano for 100 years like I have, my fingers are not light anymore. So, all right, now when I look up, can I see? Not really, right? Blink, yes. Open, not really. So what I want to do is I'm going to take more shadow and I'm going to kind of play a little trick. So I'm going to do this and I'm going to go up. And it's really going to seem way too high, but it has to. So again, we're tapping on the outside, tapping on the outside. So I've almost put that color all over my eyelid. Now I can tell I have an eyeshadow on when I'm looking straight ahead, right? That's what I want. Okay. So I like to kind of finish one eye and then I'm gonna let that set and then I'm gonna clean up the outside edge. But isn't that just a pretty one color done? One color done. All right, so all over the lid, up into the crease. And I'm gonna come a little higher because I just did my other eye and I know I've got to, right? That's when you start learning your eye. And then we just are tapping on the outside. I'm just gonna let the lid dry by itself. And we're just blending the outsides. There, and see, because I knew I had to go up, I can tell that I have eyeshadow on now. Isn't that awesome? So the trick is honestly, trust yourself. Don't trust when your eyes are closed. Open your eyes, evaluate what's happening. And even though it may seem silly that you're going that high, you get the effect that you want, right? Now, to make this pop even more, I'm not going to use an eyeliner. I'm going to use a mascara and just make my lashes be the star of the show, right? When you do a minimal eye, if you just do mascara, your eyes are, your lashes are the star of the show. So I like our Quadra, I like our Twisted second, and then we have 4D is the third one. But the Quadra is infused with lash primer, lash serum. So it is nourishing my lashes while I'm using it. Remember, I curled my lashes at the beginning, so they've had time to settle down. So first pass, we're just working all the lashes. Now you see how that makes my lashes look like the star of the show. And I'm going to do one more pass on them, and I'm especially going to look at what's going on right here. Why does it look heavier here and not there? Partially because that's how my lashes grow. But we'll see if we can cheat the system a little. Now, I could have done an eyeliner with this, and what that would have done is added some depth, but it would have taken away from my lashes a little bit. So I kind of like no eyeliner days. All right, so a little more Oh, that helped. I mean, do your lashes hit your eyebrows? Mine do. Pretty crazy. All right, and then, I mean, what an easy eye. And it's not going to crease. I showed yesterday that I was about 5-6 hours in and I had no crease whatsoever. Again, it's infused with primer, so you don't have to use primer. So it is such a fantastic product. I wish we had more shades in it. We have 6 or 7. Some are a little crazy. I'm not into crazy. So I'm just going to show you the ones I would wear. And so I love this one for kind of a brown, simple, with a little bit of shimmer look, right? And then yesterday I used the free one, which is kind of this pink mauve, which I thought was beautiful as well. So those are the eyes. Now I need to finish up with the lip. I'm going to come in with a dark brown. I know that may seem weird. I have been loving a bolder lip. And I did a pink yesterday, so I thought doing a darker color today would be fun. I would wear this for like a drama color in the summer, right? When you're doing kind of just a neutral palette. Isn't that pretty? All right, well, if I can help you with your hooded eyes, you let me know. And you can comment Tuesday or you can message me. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hearing the saga of my house falling apart. And I will see y'all tomorrow.